Yeah, so if you see these bottles, let me explain a little bit what it is, right? So they do it. I think there's another company. I know they do it, but I think there's another company as well. And what they are, they're kind of.
Closer to a bottle club?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of like an NDP, like a non-distilling producer, but it's not.
Why is it not?
What these guys do and what the other company does, but we'll talk about these guys right now. What they do is they basically just go around to different distilleries and they will buy an entire barrel of whiskey. They look for like super interesting like twists on it, so you're not going to get like you're not going to get like you may, but you're probably not going to get like an 8-year straight MGP bourbon.
So you're going to get something weird.
You're going to get something different. So these guys, and so I've seen these bottles before. I just, they're not cheap.
Which makes sense because, as you noted before we started rolling, they only got 670 bottles out of this particular
Out of that barrel, yeah. So
distributed to a random liquor store in Central Texas.
Yeah, and I've seen, like I said, I've seen them before. I've always passed on them, but here's the thing to look for. So when they go to different distilleries, think of it like almost like a store pick for a like a store owner, like our buddy he said where he did with the High West picks where they'll do bourbon finished in Isle of Scotch barrels, rum barrels, whatever. So what these guys did is they found a company in Oklahoma. It's a wheated bourbon, number one. It's got a 10-year age statement.
Yep.
It is not a single barrel, I don't think.
I don't think it is either.
No, it's probably what I think it was an experiment that the distillery was doing.
And notably, it is finished in peated whiskey casks.
Yeah, peated whiskey.
What on earth does that mean?
So, peat is something that you find a lot in scotches, right? Now, peat is if you look at it, it's turf. So it grows over in the UK. It grows in Ireland, Scotland. Yeah. So it's kind of like it sits like in almost like a marsh, like a boggy marsh.
Yeah.
And it's turf. And for years, the people over in Scotland and Ireland and whatever, they would use it to burn in their house to keep their homes warm. Right. Well, when they started distillation, they figured it has such a unique smell that they will set their malted barley in a smokehouse. They'll gather up a bunch of peat and basically light it on fire outside, right? And they've got a tube that goes in, and so the smoke, it's just like a smoker for your barbecue, right? And then it smokes the malted barley, and that gives it that smoky, smell, that smoky taste that you get like in.
How would you describe that smoky? What kind of smoke? Because it's not barbecue smoke, at least not in this.
No. So anyway, so that's what peat is. So now peat can taste very different depending on what region of.
So do they put peat in the casks or
no? It's literally just for smoking the malted barley, and then once that's smoked, then that goes in said barrel, and then what happens is after they dump those barrels to put in, your different scotches or whatever, you've got an empty barrel, and so what they did is they took 10-year age-stated wheated bourbon
and finished it in
a secondary cask that held peated scotch,
which has resulted in
whiskey.
A very interesting.
Yeah, so
very interesting whiskey.
So you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure this out, because I looked it up the other day. I'm not going to mention the name, but I'm pretty sure I know which distillery made this wheated bourbon in Oklahoma. So, but
there's only a couple.
Yeah, there's a handful, but to make that kind of whiskey, there's one.
That's a fun game if you haven't played it by trying to figure out where sourced whiskey
where something was made. Yeah.
That silly one that Beyonce released, Sir Davis.
Yeah.
You and I spent like an hour trying to figure that one out.
Yeah.
Because she is not forthright about where that juice comes from.
Well, I think it was just MGP, wasn't it, when we figured it out?
That's what we initially came to.
Yeah, it's MGP, and then I think they just add port to it, to be honest.
Like they dump port.
I think so.
That's exciting.
I could be wrong. I know the guy from Woodinville,
Mm-hmm.
Woodinville whiskey, he kind of helped out with that blend.
Yeah, his name was on it.
So I talked shit forever about that whiskey because I thought it was horse shit, and then I saw he was into it, like he helped with the blend, so I'm like, okay, it's probably decent, but not for $100.
Still overpriced MGP.
So when we got into this, a month ago,
Just about.
it was very peat forward, in my opinion.
Whereas now that
It's kind of opened up and settled a bit.
you can still tell it's peat. You get like a brine. That's what I get.
Yeah, but I was smiling when I smelled this before we started talking. But there's almost like a fruity candle, like a fruity waxiness to it.
I can see that.
You know, almost even a little tropical now. Almost like a little bit of mango.
Alright, now you might get it. Let's
Yeah.
taste it before you go further into that.
There's the peat. Peat on the front. Peat all the way through. But it's soft.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a good weeded bourbon. And with a 10-year age statement, super interesting.
Never expect that from a.
Excuse me.
You really never cough.
I only cough when we're freaking in here doing this. Drives me crazy.
I've had it up to here with you.
Bro, I could sit out in the fucking living room and drink whiskey all day and not cough once. I come in here and you turn the daggum
Camera on.
thing on and I'm like, sound like a fucking retard. It's terrible. Anyway, this is really good, dude.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a weeded bourbon to be finished in
No,
peated cask.
yeah. Well, we've got bourbons, I think.
Yes.
There might be rye up there. Shit, I forget. I don't know. But so here's what I'd say. So when you see these bottles, if you got a hundo to spend, you know, like this says weeded edition, so you know it's a weeder. You know, has an age statement, which is cool, and then it tells you on the back kind of what they did. So if you're not a big Scotch guy, right? This might be
Too much.
a little too funky, right? I remember before I even got into Scotches, I remember I had a real hard time because of the peat, right?
It is very different from bourbon.
Yeah, it's very different.
There have been points where I've drank nothing but Scotch for like a month and a half, and then I'd have a port bourbon, and the cherry notes are overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I forgot what that tasted
Yeah.
like.
Well, I'm the opposite. So that, you know, after drinking bourbon for, you know, months at a time, and then I go to some form of Scotch, and it really just jumps out. Yeah. But now that I like it, now I kind of use Scotch and Irish just kind of to reset, you know, reset your palate a little
In a
bit.
good way, what's it called? Peated whiskey. It tastes very chalky, or it tastes waxy.
It can. This one definitely has. That's definitely changed from when we first had it.
Earthy is a good catch-all term.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like with certain types of, especially Scotches, even just talking about the Isla stuff, you know, the peat comes off as like the Ardbeg stuff, like a meatiness, like a barbecue smokiness, whereas the Lefroy stuff comes off like
wet ash,
like from a campfire, right? And people are looking at that or hearing that and going, "It's fucking disgusting."
Oh,
no,
trust.
It's actually really good. Or even some Irish, like Bunnahabhain and stuff like that, where they do their peated stuff. Yeah, like the injuries and stuff, I don't get any of that on.
No, the injury is quite soft and pleasant.
Yeah, but yeah, so anyway, long story short, these are really cool. So if you can find them and you don't mind spending the money on them, plus they come with cool toppers, like that's metal. It's like a freaking...
And it's a real cork.
Yeah,
There's some good style to it. Operations like this are really interesting. These are really for the enthusiasts in the audience. Like, if you're just getting out, don't buy this. You will.
Well, yeah, if
It's
you're
just too weird.
If you're kind of a newbie, you know, I always used to tell people this at the store. Like, in our store, we kind of had like one side of the, because you were there, fucking huge amount,
a lot of whiskey.
huge amount, and it gets overwhelming. But the one side was like kind of craft style, and the other side, by where my desk was like legacy stuff. And I used to tell people, like, if you're just kind of getting into it,
start with the
legacy, right? I've said it before. You know, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and then as your palate gets better, figure out why you like it or why you don't like it, right? And then you can kind of branch out, and then watching, you know, stuff like this would probably help. You know, watch other.
Yeah, increase your vocabulary, increase your repertoire of
understanding of what, you know, because you go to a craft aisle, you know, I mean, but shit, no, I mean, I hate bringing it up because talk about it all the time too much, but, you know, like when I bought those Nulu bottles, I knew nothing about them. It was kind of early on in my whiskey journey, and I had seen them online, typical knucklehead, you know, I'd seen people talking about them on videos.
Oh, like, this looks cool.
Oh, I gotta have them. You know, and then
I bought all four.
I bought 4 of them, like $500 worth of whiskey, and I'm like, I didn't do my homework. I said,
sourced MGP,
and they didn't at the time. I don't know if they do now because I won't buy any of their stuff. But I'm like, it's not even. They don't even do anything with it. They just put it in a fancy bottle, you know. So
do we still have the Nulu?
No, I drank them out of spite. I shit you not, I was so angry.
I believe it.
After years, I just like.
Was it really $500 worth of?
Yeah, they were like anywhere between like 90 and like $120 each.
Ouch.
And they were all store picks.
Ouch.
It's your freaking store in Prescott, Arizona.
I remember that.
Yeah. But
either way,
it's really good.
Stick with the legacies if you're brand new. And even if you're like in the middle of the road, this still might be too weird. But if you're really at the point where you appreciate the craft of whiskey for whiskey's sake,
I would agree.
And you realize that all varieties of whiskey can either be done well or they can be done poorly. Stuff like this is really interesting. It's really expensive because, you know, they're on the frontier. They're experimenting. They don't have the infrastructure like Buffalo Trace or Brown-Forman to just pump out 1 million bottles.
Yeah, and remember, they're not making anything. No. So they're literally going to...
They're going on a quest.
They're going on a quest, which is super cool. I mean, something like this that was available here in Central Texas, so when they buy their barrels, they can't tell you, like, there's usually an NDA, right?
Sense.
So they can't tell you which distillery they get it from. And like in our local specs, they have those, like the World of Whiskey, those scotches.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's a little different because they don't have to sign NDA, so you know exactly what you're buying. So it'll be, you know, whatever, something from, you know, cask strength version of the Ardbeg Wee Beastie or something, and they'll actually tell you what it is. And those are super expensive, $150 and up. So they're not cheap because they have to buy the whole barrel. Right,
and if you've never bought a barrel full of whiskey before, it's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you think $100 bottle of whiskey is expensive when you have to buy a freaking entire barrel that has, what did it say, 678
bottles worth of it?
Yeah, so you do the math on that. You know,
that's a lot of chips.
They're dropping almost $7 grand. Well, let's call it dropping, you know, probably between $5 and $6 grand.
And now they got to make it back up.
Now they got to make it back up, and they got to pay for their tickets over there.
And you got to pay to transport that big stupid thing.
Yeah. So, but these are super interesting. This is the first one that we've owned.
This is delicious.
But yeah, it's cool. So if you like Scotch, you know, and you happen to see this one, which I don't know if you would or not, but.
This is more a promotion for an endorsement of
just
this organization in general. Regardless of what they do, I have full confidence that they'll do it well.
Yeah, and like I said, if you're going to buy something like this, take a few minutes while you're at the store. read the label.
Read it.
So you know what you're getting yourself into. Because if you just see it and you're like, oh, that's cool, I'll buy it. And if you don't like peated Scotch, you're probably going to be angry at yourself for dropping $110 or whatever we paid for it.
And in case you don't know, you can't return an open bottle.
Nope. So they're just going to sit on your shelf and take up space.
And maybe you'll drink it out of spite, but
yeah, but look for,
keep an eye out.
Yeah, keep an eye out for these guys. Like I said, they're not cheap, $100-ish, but
Worth the price.
yeah, and it's cool because maybe you'll find like a really cool, maybe they'll find a cool bourbon that's aged in white port barrels, and you're like, I love that shit.